All right, it is time for an update on the CornBadge. So many security conferences are now coming up with electronic badges that you can hack, manipulate, change in order to have it do cool stuff. And in the similar vein, there has been these little add-ons that you can put onto these conference badges to do different things. And it's been really fun and interesting. We had the Houston Snake Badge earlier this year, and I've been developing the Corn Badge for my new Nebraska roots. And we had a soldering party earlier this month where I had taken a look at this and put some of the things together. We did come up with a few problems that we noticed. One of the things is the corn kernels, which were supposed to be lighting up, they don't really light up the way we want to. Part of that is because there is a solder mask on the back, and we're looking at kind of changing some of that up. However, we also just didn't have the same wow factor we were really going for with one of these. With add-on, you're really limiting your power consumption a lot and what you can do on it. You're trying to make it pretty much as cheap as possible with using as little power as possible. And so in that same vein and wanting to do something cooler, I've been taking a look at the ATtiny85 and seeing what else we can add to this little tiny add-on. And so let's take a look at that now. So as I'm making something a little bit more complex, I decided to look at the ATtiny85, mainly because the KernelCon guys are using it as well. So I figured I might as well add something onto it. Plus, it's $1, only $1, and acts as an Arduino. So you can actually have some really interesting things going on and a lot of fun with people playing around with them. If you take a look at the schematic on it, you can see, hey, the voltage is up here, the grounding is back down here, and you have 5 different pins and a reset. So it actually is pretty powerful for what you get for only $1. In this case, I'll be powering these 4 LEDs, but it will be easily hackable for when it is actually on the corn. And I'll have a little pin out so we can do it. To program it, I was trying to use this dev board from Olemax. As you can see, it's pretty straightforward, very nice, and definitely cheaper, where I can go ahead and just stick it into the breadboard, ta-da, and make everything work that way. Did run into a few issues with this as I was playing around with it. The drivers that I needed for the Mac, I never got to work with the USB. For whatever reason, even when I follow all the different instructions, the Mac never recognized it. And this is a known issue where they're asking you to downgrade your cables and different things along those lines. I'm not going to go buy a degraded cable. Instead, I went and I hooked up to the PC, and it seemed to work fine. Even then, the documentation for some of the things, how it's supposed to work and how you're supposed to set everything up to program the Tiny on the inside so that you could take it out, pop it out like this and put it into the board over here, is not the greatest. I did run into some problems where it was already programmed and it would work fine with the pinouts to go here and everything to work, but when I actually took it out and put it down there for being set up, it ran into issues. So the last issue I ran into was really my fault, where my daughter came in with a 9-volt battery and started running it across the pins and different things, and suddenly this guy doesn't turn on anymore. Normally there's a green LED light right here, and that green LED light will turn on whenever you have power. I can get that to shine so I know it's not burnt out, but when I hook it into my PC, it doesn't seem to work. So even though I tried troubleshooting for quite a bit, wasn't able to figure it out. Asking a bunch of people, haven't been able to figure it out yet. I've decided instead I'm just going to go with a different dev board to see if I can be more successful with that. That might be a little easier. So I went ahead, or 2 of them, in case my daughter goes crazy on that. As you can see from the video I'm putting up now, there is what we want it to do, that back and forth. And then with the pinouts, with the badge, you would be able to program something else in. I'm also trying to make it with the badge where, very similar to the different pinouts to feed in, you could have the same exact thing with corn. So let's take a look in KiCad. You can see easily that you have the SAO connector right here, and I've actually rigged it up so that connector would be able to have the different pins and program the ATtiny85. And then we have 4 LEDs, which will be all set up. So if you take a look at that schematic, you can see how it's related back to the actual new and improved Corn, where you have the 4 LEDs, the resistors, and the tiny down here. And then programming it will actually work out. We remove the solder mask on the back and the front, and then we actually have some copper on the front. There you have it. There's where we're going with it right now. If you have any comments, concerns, questions about it in any way, shape, or form, feel free to reach out, ask about it. It's been a huge learning experience for me, and your additional questions and comments helps me push a lot of these things forward and give something very interesting for the community to play with, and I really do appreciate that. Have a great one, and look forward to all the updates.